The airport is the last place in Ireland where all the social classes mix. It's like a big melting pot. 80,000 of us come here every day. Only the very rich and the very poor can avoid the place. It's a bit like the Irish Zoo. All the wildlife is here. If you want to see the new Ireland, come here, spend an afternoon, and you'll see it, warts and all. One of the most colourful species in the Irish Zoo are the Bono boomers, Ireland's permanent adolescents. You can see them heading off for their weekend city breaks. The Bono boomers were born in the 60s, a decade that was opened by the birth of one Paul Hewson. This is the tribe that straddles the generation gap. Too old to be hip, but too young to be old. They love the electric picnic, buying the latest CDs, reciting the words to London Calling, and of course, having an opinion on the Arctic Monkeys. The nation has become host to the most extraordinary combination of late-onset hedonism, age denial and decadence, and the Bono boomers are leading the way. Forget the fact that you have kids, a mortgage and a bad knee. It's time to go mad. And everything is fueled by unfeasible amounts of booze and marching powder. So what is more disturbing? The balding fathers with their designer sunglasses skin grafted onto the top of their heads? And in the back of your mind, are their permalescent wives, the pussycat moms, screeching suggestively? The jury is out.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Don't ya?
The 40-somethings nowadays do live a younger life than their fathers would have at the same time. But I'm not sure. I think every generation had a bad dancing dad at a wedding or an Auntie Tina Turner at a 21st that would embarrass the living daylights out of you. But I think the difference now is that, you know, it's less the hucklebuck and a comb over as opposed to, you know, a bit of U2 and a sort of a shades on the top of the head or whatever. So every generation, I think, has their own embarrassment within that generation.
While the Bono boomers are busy being delinquent, the older Jagger generation are still enjoying the spoils of the property boom, which has turned them into accidental millionaires.
Hey, how are you? Hello. Where are you traveling? I'm flying to New York.
Botox Betty is off to New York for her twice-yearly shopping trip and her visit to her second-generation Irish-American cousin, Moira. Betty and Maura are off shopping. This year, well over 250,000 of us will visit New York to shop. In the 1980s, just before their property market went bang, it was Japanese shoppers who were invading New York. Now it is the overhyped, overdrawn Irish, spending money we don't have on stuff we don't need. Outrageously, we will spend $500 million in New York City this year.
The Irish market is the 6th largest overseas market for New York City. And if you look at the grand picture, we get about 44 million total visitors a year, and about 7 million of those visitors are international. And then if you look at what we're going to get this year, 285,000 visitors are going to come from Ireland. So just kind of put it in the context. The Irish visitor has an average income of about $95,000, so they have a good income level. They tend to come and stay for about 5.5 nights on average, and they spend about $1,900 per person per visit. Irish visitors coming to New York now are getting better bargains on Fifth Avenue than they are on Grafton Street. They love the big brands, they're saving a lot of money, and they're going back with double the number of suitcases than they had when they arrived.
Waiting for. Thank you, Laura. It's a pleasure.
But there is another side to this story, which emphasises the fragility of Ireland's economic miracle. Maura is one of America's 78 million baby boomers, who as they are getting older are trying manically to feel and look younger. America's baby boomers are Botox junkies, and we produce all of it. Ireland is Tiernan Og, and weird stuff is going on in the countryside. 38 pharmaceutical multinationals produce over 40% of our total exports. All the world's Botox is made in Westport. And Arklow is the silicone implant capital of the world. But it is not just that we are literally the nation that makes Botox. We are metaphorically the Botox nation, where the outward impression is youthful and vigorous, but underneath the real economic picture is much shabbier. American baby boomers don't care where they get their drugs, so nothing is guaranteed. We have failed to notice that Irish exports have stagnated in the past 5 years. Like a middle-aged Botox user, we are totally in denial. Last year at the airport, we ate 250,000 sandwiches and drank 1.6 million cups of tea, while stuffing over 500,000 Danish pastries into our gobs, all served to us by 23 different nationalities. It's hardly surprising that diabetes is the fastest growing disease in the country. Tatiana from Latvia lives in Swords, and she flies home regularly to Riga to do her shopping. With 6 cheap flights a day to the Baltics, it's not a bad commute. The Irish businessmen leaving the airport are still ploughing most of their money into that least productive of all industries, property. We are now the biggest foreign property investors in the UK, attracted by what seems to be easy cash. Porrick is doing business in Liverpool. He is from a Mayo farming family and had built up a property portfolio in Ireland, but he sold most of it last year in anticipation of the property crash.
I was in a farming background in 1996. I decided to get into property. There was too much hard work with the farm and I was getting fed up. Everybody was buying houses in Ireland. So I decided to come here and look. I fly over here 1 day a week and come back that night. So it's a long day. I work the 2 days, kind of do 2 days work in one. So I could just come over every week. You can buy 2 up, 2 down from 70,000 upwards, and you get an 8-bedroom, 8-bedroom house from 100,000 up to anywhere at 250. Go for planning on them and do them up and sell the apartments or rent them out either. There's lots of opportunities. This is a typical house that I'd buy here. In the old house I bought it run down, and there's 5 apartments there with a small greenfield site at the side of it, and there's 6 apartments there, so it stacks up better than in Ireland. And I've the house rented now, and I'm going to sell the 6 apartments on the side of it in the next few months when they're finished.
Porrick might be doing well personally, but the property monster is sucking in all available Irish cash. And while far-sighted countries like China are investing in brain power, the asset of the 21st century, we, in contrast, are betting the house on property, the staple of the 19th century. Last year, we invested 60 times more in overseas property than we did in high-tech startups. We have got to get over this Bull McCabe type obsession with the field, because property creates no basis for keeping Ireland in the fast lane. Ireland should aim to become a hub for trade and talent, but to do this, we have to consider where we fit in, what we do best, and whether we have something of value to sell.
We're quite new in Asia. We only moved out here about 2 years ago. You can't ignore the whole Asia phenomenon, the growth in the market here. And it's not just China's story, it's a Southeast Asia story as well. Without a doubt, it's the most dynamic city and country I've ever been in. Every time I come here, the scenery has changed. There's new skyscrapers up. All of the multinationals are well aware of what's going on in China. Intel, in fact, announced their first factory built in Asia, which is here in China. You can't ignore it. Should we be worried in Ireland? Well, you know, you're not going to be able to compete with the cost of manufacturing in this country. I think where we can compete, and it's where Glanbia are investing in Ireland, is in the area of innovation. Lisa, how are you?
喂，小姐你好，我是哥伦比亚 Lisa。
David, how are you? Good. Welcome to China.
Thanks very much. Good. Before communism, Shanghai was the roaring centre of East Asian trade. The first impression you get of China is that communism was an aberration. It seems that the instinct of these people is to trade. Only 40 years ago, people here were terrorised by the Cultural Revolution. Today, any vestiges of communism appear to have been erased and replaced with the most vibrant strain of capitalism on this earth. 20 years ago, the far side of the Hangpu River was paddy fields. Today, it is a glittering metropolis with a skyline that dwarfs Manhattan. What are we going for?
I think we'll try 2 of these here.
So tell us, what's the impact of China on things like price of a pint of milk in Ireland?
Well, it's not just a China story, it's the whole of Asia. There's huge growth in demand for infant formula in this part of the world, and of course infant formula is the core components of infant formula are all produced from milk. And it isn't just the population growth, it's also that the usage. I think the best illustration I can give is in Europe, the average consumption of infant formula per baby per year is about 20 kilos. Here in China it's 2. Thank you very much. Thank you. Xi.
So what about culture? You're saying that, you need that bridge, don't you? That cultural bridge between both.
You do, yeah. Culture is very important here. Like, forgetting even the language issue where most people don't speak English in this part of the world. Culture, it's around relationship, it's around family, and you need to acknowledge that. As we nearly get knocked over, you need to acknowledge that, because otherwise you're not going to do business. If you don't sit down and get to know the people, if you don't go and have food with them, if you don't go and have a drink with them, you won't do business.
But there are opportunities here. The Chinese middle class is estimated to be over 100 million, and we have things that they don't, like proper banking, education and legal systems. These are services that we should be marketing. It's time to grab these new opportunities, because the old rule book has been ripped up. The thing about China is we're all aware that something major is going on here. We look in our streets, we see Chinese kids for the first time ever. We read the paper, we read stories about China. But it's only when you really come here and you look around that you appreciate the dynamism of these people. You understand the ambition of this country. And more importantly, you get some idea of the single-minded clarity of vision. And this vision is very simple. It is to make the 21st century China's century.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
China is on its way into our living rooms. Young Irish parents, the cash-strapped jugglers, are already struggling to keep all the balls in the air. Despite this, they're going to max out on their credit cards to make sure that little Ciara and Liam get what they want this Christmas.
For Papa. Lights are turned down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight.
Everything in the toy shop is made in China. When the Chinese stop making toys and begin to dominate in high-tech, what will the impact of China then be on these Irish children? If we want to play the global game, we have got to be single-minded and far-sighted at home. This means having a strategic vision of the type of country we are trying to build.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.